You're listening to the Daily Sales Tips podcast, and I'm your host, Scott Ingram. In yesterday's tip, I talked about how what we do is much more important than what we say. Do is greater than say. Today, I'm going to build on that idea and talk about how discipline and what you consistently do is far more important than motivation. Again, a shout out to Matt Wilpers, one of my favorite Peloton instructors, who prompted this tip. Here's the deal. Motivation is fleeting. We see this at the start of every year as many people set New Year's resolutions. They're motivated to start the new year strong and change something about their life. Maybe it's their diet or their workout routine, or maybe it's their prospecting efforts. Now, imagine what the graph looks like over the course of January and even through Q1 as we look at how many people stay committed to these goals and activities. They fall off dramatically, and very few people maintain beyond the first few days, weeks, or months before they settle back into their regular habits. I think this mostly speaks to motivation. There's nothing wrong with motivation, but we'd be much better served by staying consistent and being disciplined. If you can commit to a daily or weekly activity and just stay disciplined about doing that thing, no matter what, you're going to get better results. It doesn't matter if you're motivated or not. It's about having the integrity and being accountable to yourself to just push through. Yesterday, I talked about what you do is so much more important than what you say. And these ideas are connected. This podcast is a great example. If you've listened to my own tips here for any amount of time, you know that I'm constantly talking about the importance of consistency. That's what I say. What I do is release one of these tips every day. And today, I've now done that 1,065 days in a row. I'm about a month away from having maintained that streak, having had the discipline to make sure it happens no matter what for 3 years. Now that really says something, doesn't it? So don't worry so much about being motivated. Sometimes you will be, and if you're human, sometimes you won't be. Instead, where can you be disciplined? What can you commit to doing day in and day out, week in and week out, no matter what's going on? I think this also means you need to carefully think through what's sustainable. Set the bar at what you can accomplish even if you're not feeling well or are completely overwhelmed. You can overachieve and feel great about yourself in your strong weeks and continue to feel good even in your off weeks because you kept going and stayed disciplined. I hope that helps. Give it some thought. Better yet, do something about it. Look at what you're trying to achieve. Break it down into its simplest form and a daily or weekly activity and commit to being disciplined around that activity. Then tell me about your results on the other end. This has certainly worked well for me. Now, make sure you subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast player and be sure to come back tomorrow for another great sales tip. Thanks for listening.